Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 5 Minutes with. My name is Emily Foley. I'm Cosmoprof North America's beauty correspondent, and I am so excited to be joined today by Noah Rosenblatt. Hi, Noah.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
So well, and I'm so excited to chat with you. But let me tell everyone a little bit about you if they don't know. So, Noah Rosenblatt is the president of the PCA company's newest acquisition, Beauty Space, formerly SpaceNK Wholesale. He joined the company back in 2015, bringing more than 8 years of beauty experience with prior roles at LVMH, along with 20 years of retail industry experience. Noah has been instrumental in developing strategies to increase brand awareness, expansion, deepen customer relationships, and evolve the brand's in store and digital experience, which now exceeds more than 600 branded beauty space points of distribution. And he's maintained and grown the business in luxury and prestige with nearly 60 brands being a part of the beauty space wholesale portfolio, which is pretty incredible.
So nice. Thank you.
Of course. So, first, let's jump in a little bit about consumer spending. For 2024, did you see any major differences in the shopping habits of online customers versus those in-store customers?
Yeah, a great question. And I can't believe 2024 is already like nearly done, which is mind-blowing to me. But I think regardless of the channel that the consumer is shopping, whether that is physical retail spaces or online, there's three major things that are super important to them. One is selection, the other is service, and the third is speed. And so regardless as to where the consumer is shopping, those are obviously going to be really important decision points for them. I would say, though, that one of the things that we've seen is digitally, it's become a far more competitive landscape. Whether it's the DTC brands that are really trying to maintain that customer coming to them for that product, or whether it's retailers that are looking to gain customer or market share, that's been probably the biggest space is that competitive landscape digitally has become far greater than I think we've seen in years past. And the reason that I would say that is really the most important piece is you can respond much faster to consumers' needs on the digital space versus the physical space. And so that's really where I think people are playing to really kind of win market share.
Yeah, so it's almost just that more on demand that people across the board are wanting to get in their lives.
For sure.
Okay, that makes so much sense. Now, is there a beauty category that isn't represented at Space NK at all that you'd like to bring in?
Uh, I love this question. So Space NK and Beauty Space now is really about having multiple categories in our assortment. But the one that we're seeing, so we have skincare, hair care, makeup, you name it, we've got it. But the one that we're seeing that we continue to want to develop is really in the niche fragrance category. So niche fragrances, if you look at any of the data that's available to us out there, is continuing to grow. And niche fragrances are bringing a new customer base. And so we tend to think that with niche fragrance, we can continue to do exactly that, drive more traffic with new customers to some of our existing retail partnerships, while also then giving them accessibility to the consumers that are shopping in some of those existing retailers. And so the niche fragrance category is one that we're really spending even more time on.
Are you seeing that there's being an even demand from customers for that niche fragrance and then new brands and existing brands creating that? Or is there more of a demand than the market is even being able to answer at this point?
Yeah, so existing brands, obviously, newness is going to be important to them. But there are some brands that are out there that 60% of their fragrance or 60% of their fragrance business comes from a single SKU. And that's a great business model if you had that opportunity to be able to do it. However, what we're finding is that those scents, obviously, the consumer is wanting newness from new brands. And so that's where we're really focusing is not necessarily on new scents from existing brands. While we will continue to embrace those, it's really new scents from new brands and really focused on individual or maybe a handful of SKUs from those brands.
Okay, that's so exciting. So we're sort of switching gears a little bit here, but what's a brand or product that you've discovered recently that you really love?
That's a great one. So I have a personal one that I'm like obsessed with right now. It's the tomato room spray from Malin and Getz. So I've been on this like health kick recently, and so cooking at home, and obviously, I'm probably not the best cook, but I do go back and spray my room after I cook, and it really does a great job of covering up any kind of room scents. So the tomato room spray is like my go-to product right now.
Okay, that's amazing. That is such a hot tip. I'm immediately going to purchase that when we get done talking because I am one of those people when I'm done cooking and done eating, I want it gone. I don't want to smell it
Totally.
anymore. And
Totally.
so many things don't help get rid of the lingering dinner smell.
Yeah, try this one from Malin and Getz. It's amazing.
That's so fun. I love it. So, we obviously have to talk about what Beauty Space has done. It's so innovative in the beauty industry, but traditionally, brands are told to basically pick a lane as far as partnering with prestige retailers versus mid-range or mass retailers. Do you think Beauty Space has negated that concept completely?
It's an awesome question. It's an interesting one too. I think it can be spliced and diced a bunch of different ways. But what I would say to you is we were probably one of three here in the United States that have been able to kind of change what the traditional retailing model looked like previous. So on the really on the heels of Sephora going into Kohl's and Ulta doing their partnership with Target, we created a partnership with Walmart. And so now in nearly 300 points of distribution with Walmart, in really premiumized stores and remodeled stores with Walmart, we've been able to bring very similar brands from our luxury division into the Walmart consumer experience or customer experience there. And so I do think that we're on the forefront of really that democratizing beauty, but really it's about accessibility for customers. And so, as I think in a post-pandemic world, which that was nearly 5 years ago, which is also amazing to think how long ago that was. But really, we saw people move out of big cities into secondary or other metropolitan areas. And so, with that, they still wanted the accessibility to those beauty brands that were there. And so, through all of these partnerships, whether it's Beauty Space's partnership with Walmart or even some of the others that I mentioned previously, it's really gaining accessibility to consumers who really are looking for those brands. And so that's really the exciting piece that's there. But I do believe that the consumer wants that as they're doing their everyday shopping, they want the availability of that product at their fingertips wherever they're choosing to shop.
Have you found that there's been a lot of educating, teaching existing Walmart customers about these brands? Or has it been more, yes, I'm in Walmart, but I already know these brands and yay, I can grab it while I'm here?
Yeah, a little bit of both, to be honest. So, and this is where, if we go back to your first question, Emily, where you're talking about online and offline customers. So online, I think it's, I know this brand and I just want to add it to cart because of the speed and accessibility to the product. That's just part of my parcel or my package that I'm going to be receiving. In store, there's been a lot more education. We're doing some really cool things. So we're introducing brand QR code integration on the in-store shopping environment. So let's face it, everybody has a smartphone at this point, but if they wanted to get further education or a little deeper education provided by Beauty Space or by Walmart, we have the capability for them to just scan a QR code at store and learn a lot more about those products. So I think it's a little bit of both. I will also say that, you know, the in-store shopping experience tends to be a consumer who's much more in the moment. So they're making those weekly purchases or weekly visits to a Walmart location and they're, you know, having to make a choice at times in regards to, do I want to spend all of my money on beauty products or do I want to make it last a little bit longer? And so we are seeing a little bit of a difference in regards to what a average unit purchase looks like in store versus online. But there's been a lot of elevation to the online experience. And so we're thrilled by our partnership with them, but also around how we're working with them in regards to brands.
Okay, that makes so much sense. I mean, again, I feel like I could ask you 12 more questions just with
Good.
what you
I'm
just said.
obsessed. Yeah.
Try to keep this timely as
Yeah.
we do with these interviews. So, what brands are you finding have the most success right now in beauty space, and why do you think that's the case?
So great question. I think I've told you about that on every question. So some of the brands that are doing really well for us. So on the go, fast fixes are what we're finding. So whether it's existing brands that we do business with, like Mario Badescu facial sprays, or even Patchology eye gels and things like that, that are really on the go, quick fixes, like I mentioned, those are all doing very well for us. We're also seeing this second wave of K beauty coming into uh, the market. And so again, also a fast fix. What traditionally from a K beauty perspective was rituals where you had to do 12 steps to get the perfect skin or however you wanted your skin to have that final result. What we're finding is that they're really good at bringing value and hot products and hot ingredients to market. And so that's kind of what's also been really great. Uh, Hyaluronic in a bottle that's 100 ml for $35 is a pretty good usage. And especially this time of year, I don't know about you, but my skin's getting really dried out from all the heat in the building. So
Yeah.
uh, I'm like thrilled by some of the ways that K Beauty has been helping us bring efficacious products and efficacious ingredients to consumers at low costs.
Okay, so off book, because I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question, but while we're talking about K beauty, there's just that always that viral component still of
Yeah.
K beauty is all over social media all the time. Are you still seeing that sort of what's the talk on TikTok and that whole viral moment that's happening outside of beauty space driving sales to you guys? Is that definitely a working in tandem situation?
Yeah, we work with brands on how they can help us and how we can help them in regards to how they show up on digital and social channels. One of the things that I think is happening is that virality that you're talking about of products is really gaining massive spikes. But we know that ultimately we want a product and a consumer to want longevity in the usage of that product. And so while the spike is really nice, it's hard to catch up to. It doesn't make it that easy for us to be able to like capitalize on it long term. We would ultimately like to see that and then it kind of taper off and maintain its business. So we're looking for really consistency in the product offer that we have rather than just kind of the viral spikes that are happening.
Well, and I think that's so smart for brands across the board because it can be so easy to chase that viral moment. But I mean, what you're saying, that is not good long term. It's not really what you need in any brand situation. So I love that you touched on that. Again, I feel like we could talk for 30 more minutes, but one more question for you.
Go for
I'm
it.
asking all of my guests, and this is completely not fair since we're all beauty people, but what one beauty product can't you live without?
Uh, this is uh this is tough to make it only one. So I'm going to, again, I referenced kind of like my skin in the season and it being really dry. So I would say the DDG, so the Dr. Dennis Gross Dewy Deep Cream is one that I'm loving. And I would, if I could throw in a second one, I'd say
You can, you can.
The Oak Essentials Balancing Mist. It's such a nice way to cool down in the middle of the day or just kind of give myself a refresh in the middle of the day. It's really, really a great product. And so those would be my two go-to products, especially in this season.
I love that because I feel more now in the winter than ever than those midday refreshes are so important and people don't always think about that. So having something that you can go to because your skin, whether you have makeup on or not, is feeling the pressure of winter is so smart.
Totally. Totally.
Well, Noah, this was so much fun, and you have just shared so much incredible wisdom with us today. So thank you so much. We very much appreciate your time.
Thanks, Emily. This has been a pleasure. I'm glad to be here.